In this episode,
we have something in common, right? Because I haven't won a playoff round either in my career. So that's kind of like the Leafs, right? In the last.
No, we won one. We won one.
Welcome to the Subject Free Podcast. The unfiltered real estate podcast where four agents share real life stories from their careers in the crazy world of real estate. Now welcome Alum, Viv, Matt, and Adam.
What's up, rookie? Welcome to your first day. So we have goalie gear for you. Which pad do you think goes on which leg? Yes. Good spot. Yes! There you go! Test number one. Test number two. What is a glove save? Wait, wait. Oi! Welcome to the team! Yes!
Okay.
Awesome.
Well done. Welcome, everybody, to the Subject Free broadcast brought to you by
Podcast.
Podcast.
Woo! Yeah, way to go, Adam.
It's been a while. We haven't done this in a while.
No,
I'm not used to my intro yet. Brought to you by Legacy Brew. I did get that in, and we've got a very special
Huge
guest.
Vancouver icon here.
Vancouver icon.
An overall handsome and nicest man in the world.
Yeah.
With a bit of a funny bone.
Yeah, Mr.
yeah.
Eddie Lack is on the podcast. Thanks for joining us, Eddie.
I'm just happy that I didn't get sued after that intro video.
Sued. Oh,
Yeah, that's an HR infraction, I think, if you look at it. Yeah.
It's still with me, so like it says something. You know?
So hold on. So that girl, she was new on the team at that time, right?
Yeah, she just started then. So she's been with us for like 6-7 months now, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, how's she doing?
She's doing great. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, anyone that's willing to put on gear like that, she's a good fit for this team.
I was going to say that the gear looked like it weighed more than she did. So the fact that she was standing up there and like actually able to move, I was like, well, like I've never played goalie before. Obviously, I don't know how heavy the pads are, but man, it looked heavy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 40, 50 pounds to put on,
And
right?
she's 90 pounds soaking wet, right? So it's...
I love it. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We all kind of know you, Eddie. I mean, I'm a big Canucks fan, and I've kind of followed your journey from when you first got introduced into the team to now. I follow you on Instagram, and it seems like you're doing great things out in Arizona real estate.
I'm a Leaf fan. Sorry, Eddie.
Oh, yeah, that's a shame.
I'm from Toronto, though, so you know.
We'll leave him out of this one, I guess, today. But let's just start, basics. You obviously grew up playing hockey, goalie. Tell me your introduction to the Vancouver Canuck team when you joined the Canucks. We were kind of in our heyday of the Sedin era. And so just tell me how you got introduced into the team and kind of what your journey was, as a Vancouver Canuck goalie.
Yeah, I mean, I played in the Swedish Elite League, but I was actually Jacob Markstrom's backup there back in the day. And I was like 21 and he was 19, I think. And it was just like, we all knew that Marky was going to sign in the NHL. And I thought that I needed a few more years to develop and everything, right? And then Vancouver called me and they're like, we watching games and practice, yada, yada, yada. We want you to sign here, but you only have 12 hours to sign because otherwise we're going to go down to the next guy on the list.
No kidding.
12 hours, wow.
Cool,
That's
right? So I figured that no matter what happens, I'm going to have to play in the minors for like a bit, right? Before I get a chance with the big clubs. I just figured, why stay in Sweden when I am going to have to go down the minors either way, right? So signed the contract, went over, had like a really good rookie camp, shared a bedroom in Penticton with Luongo, my first camp. I was so like scared, and I'm like, oh shit, if I like talk in my sleep or like snore, like this is gonna be so like bad. But no, like he was the nicest guy. Like he bought me breakfast every morning. I mean, we really got along, right? And yeah, got to come in the best time there. I was the third goalie when we lost to Boston in the final, and I still hate Boston.
Good man. So do we. Even a Leaf fan can agree with that.
I hate Boston. Oh my God. But your rise was pretty quick from what I remember. I mean, after Luongo left, and then after, because honestly, I didn't really follow the Canucks. Again, I'm a Leaf fan, so. But I remember, I used to run nightclubs back then, and I remember you coming into the nightclub, and everyone was celebrating one of your wins or something like that. But it was a fun time, and you had so much fun that I'm not gonna, give away some secrets here, but you were having a really good time at the club. So, that's how I remember you the most. Is I remember you were just the nicest guy when you came in. So, thanks for being nice to us.
I mean, we have something in common, right? Because I haven't won a playoff round either in my career. So that's kind of like the Leafs, right? In the last.
No, we won one. We won one. We won one. One in the last 27 years. No, I'm joking.
So obviously hockey's huge in Sweden. That's an obvious. But when you came over to the Vancouver market, did you know anything about the market, the media? I mean, Canadian City obviously being a big one, and you were behind Luongo and Schneider at that point. So did you? What was your expectations coming in, and what did you learn about the city of Vancouver and just the hockey market in general?
I mean, you always hear like that it's crazy and everything, but I don't think that you can really prepare for it until you're there, right? And my goal was always to be there and be the guy when Schneider got traded and be loose backup, right? And that's what happened eventually. And I just tried to like play as well as I could in the minors and everything. Like I was fortunate when I played in the minors too, because I played for really good teams there. So like my first year was in Winnipeg before they got an NHL team, right? But they treated that team like they were in the NHL already. So like we flew everywhere, like we had like all the food setups and everything in like the locker rooms like you see in the NHL, right? So and then when they got their NHL team, we went to Chicago, and it was like the same thing there. So like everyone of my friends that was talking, oh, the minors is so tough with these bus rides and everything. I never really experienced that because I always played with like teams that took really good care of you, right? So just fortunate in that way.
So was it a shock when you were like, you came to Vancouver, you had your camp and everything, and then they're like, okay, you're going to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're there, winters are like 5 degrees Celsius here, which is what I think like 40 something Fahrenheit. But then you go to minus 40 and you're playing in Winnipeg and you're like, oh God, what the hell did I do? Why did or is Sweden like that too?
I was prepared. So my first check, I bought a Canada Goose jacket so I could stay warm.
Yeah.
And I went to hold Renfrew in Vancouver, and I'm like, oh, I gotta buy something here to stay warm. And I was kind of prepared for it, like especially in my younger days. Like I didn't do much but to go to the rink, practice, do my mobility and everything there. And like when I got home at like 2-3 in the afternoon, it was just like chill for like a couple of hours and then watch some TV and eat well, right? So like for me, it didn't really matter if I was in Winnipeg or Florida or like whatever, right? Because I didn't really like go out of my house, you know.
Yeah.
It's just
Except to celebrate the wins, right?
eat hockey, right? And it was a lot better when I came to Vancouver, right? And it was just like a little bit more to like do, and lots of friends outside of the rink, and they wanted to go out and everything. So I picked my spot a little bit, but definitely had like more fun there.
And then obviously, as we all know, Schneids gets traded and you're up with the big club. And obviously, and we won't relitigate this because this isn't a hockey podcast, but you were thrust into the limelight, being now the next in command, and with a somewhat disgruntled number one who thought that he was going to be on the way out, and now because of his contract couldn't get traded.
He was stuck with me.
Yeah, and so now you are in the limelight, and not only that, but then it starts to get where it's not a number one backup, but it's a 1A, 1B, which obviously is kind of like deja vu with what was going on with Schneider. And it kind of culminated in that we'll call it outdoors with air quotes, outdoor game that you actually got the reins on over Luongo, the big outdoor BC Place game. Not to go too much into that because we've heard you talk about that, but did you foresee that coming, and what was the relationship like with not only just Luongo, but did the team did that affect the team as well at all? Because it was a lot of controversy both outside of the rink, but also probably too inside the dressing room.
I can tell you a story how I did not expect it. So this was just after the Olympics. So we were on a 7-game losing streak before the Olympics, right? And then Lou went away with Team Canada to Russia and won gold, right? And he came back on like Sunday, and we had a game on Monday. So I knew that I was going to play that game, right? And play that game. I had a shutout. We won. I'm like, great. I had like a lot of friends and family in town just because everyone wanted to see the outdoor game, right? So I went out after the game on Monday because I'm like, there's no way I'm playing on Thursday because like Lou needs a game to get warm before the outdoor classic and everything, right? And then went out with friends on Monday there, came to practice and everything, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna play on Thursday again. And I'm like, but like why? Right?
I know where you went that Monday, by the way.
So I play on Thursday. The outdoor game is on a Saturday. I play on Thursday. We lose, I think, 3-2 or 2-1 in a shootout, but I stopped like 12 shootouts in a row, or like something like that, right? And then I'm like, all right, it's good. Like I did my part. It's time for Lou to play again. So I went out on Thursday with friends too, because I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna play this weekend, right? And then I show up to practice the next day, and I feel a little bit tired and everything. Like I got home late, and then Tort skates up to me like as soon as we hit the ice, and he's like, "You're playing tomorrow." And I'm like, "Why? Like, why am I gonna play tomorrow?" Like, are you sure? Right? So, it was just like everything kind of happened like our losing streak, and I played well leading up to it. And like Torts is one of these guys, like he doesn't care what your name is or like whatever, right? Like if you're given us the best chance at the time to win, you're gonna play, right? And if I was a coach, I mean, I would have played Lou 100 times out of 100, but I'm not gonna say no to like play a game like that, right? So yeah, and then I like played, and then Lou gets traded the day after the outdoor game, and then I played like 26 straight games or something to finish that year. So,
But
yeah.
what was that like? I mean, you're a competitive guy. You have to be able to make the NHL. You have to be ultra competitive, but you're also, as you're alluding to right now, like, shit, don't put me in. Like, are you serious? Like, how was that received internally with guys? Did anybody come up to you and be like, hey, don't worry about it? Or like, did Lou come up and be like what was that? Because that feels like to me a pivotal moment with that team. Once Luongo was gone, it kind of was the beginning of the end of those guys. So was that thought of or acknowledged in the room at that time?
Yeah, 100%. And like, Lou was the best guy with it. Like he was more supportive than anyone, right? And that's why I felt more bad too, right? I mean, the Friday there, we had the skate, and then we had like a family skate and everything, and like he was out there with his kids and everything, and I'm like, oh God, like he like should play this game, right? And but there's nothing really that I can do, right?
No.
I'm not the coach, so it was an unfortunate situation, but like everything happens for a reason, right? And I think Lou was pretty done with Vancouver at that time too, right? And that was his kind of way of getting out as well, right? So the way things happen and everything, like he got to finish his career in Florida and everything, and like play great and everything there, and then stay on with the organization and everything. Like I think in some way everything happened the way that they're supposed to happen,
Well, and just won a cup too, so that helps as well too with that organization. So all's well that ends well. A question for you though, I mean, now you're the guy. You said you played 26 straight after that, which is a heck of a resume. But you're now all of a sudden maybe taking a little bit of a page from Lou's book, in that you're showing your personality more. You're getting more involved with the media. I mean, you're kind of a happy-go-lucky guy. Everybody seemed to like you, and the taco thing, was coming up, and everybody was talking about Eddie's Tacos and where to get the best tacos. What was that ride like, being in an ultra Canadian market that the media and everything can shine on you, either good or bad? How did you kind of rein that media hype in and actually use it to your advantage, which is not an easy thing to do, especially on a team that's having, ups and downs?
And did you feel prepared for it?
Yeah, no, the first year, I don't think that I was prepared for it, and I don't think I handled it as well, right? I was the kind of guy that just took everything to heart, right? And I just wanted everyone to love me, right? And when you're in a position like that, it's impossible to get everyone to love you. And there's always going to be people that don't like you or want you to play better or like whatever, right? So the first year, I just was looking way too much on social media and like took it into me what people thought about me, right? When I really shouldn't care. Like as long as I think I'm playing well and my family thinks I'm playing well and my family loves me, like nothing else really mattered. But I was just like too hung up on what other people felt like. And then when I was thrown into a similar situation the next year, when Ryan Miller got hurt, then I felt that I was more prepared for it and like knew how to handle it and everything. But like the first year was just
fly by the seat of your pants, kind of just going the way it goes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta have a thick skin. I mean, there's so many of those, critics and analysts out there who will always say, whatever they say. But I mean, you guys, did you ever get PR training? Was there anything to help you to deal with it, or was it just like, hey, here you are, you're in the spotlight? Go.
Yeah, like I think we did PR training one one
You went out the night
development
before.
camp. But, like, the only thing that I took from it really was like, it doesn't really matter what the question is. You can still answer whatever you want, and you can kind of deflect into something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there was times when the team told me like, you can't say this or like that, right? Like I remember there was one World Juniors and Canada lost to US in the semifinal, and then US US was going to meet Sweden in the final, and I just said on Twitter, I said like, don't worry, my Canadian friends, the Swedes will take care of what the Canadians could or something. And there was not very happy people on Twitter then.
But that's funny. I mean, I see why people would have.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny.
I mean,
like,
if they know you, and that's where you have to just stop caring at that point, right? Because you gotta be yourself, right? So
totally.
Yeah.
So looking back, I mean, you've had some separation. Your career obviously moved on. You played in Calgary, Arizona, obviously. Where do you look back on your time? How do you remember your time in Vancouver as a starting goalie?
Besides the jokes on Instagram.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that was the highlight of my career, right? And I just wish that I stayed longer. Like, that summer before I got traded, like we were talking about a longer deal and keeping me there and everything for like the next 4 or 5 years. And then I think my agent asked for like a little bit too much, and then Jacob Markstrom just like lit it up in the AHL playoffs at the same time, and I just thought that they felt that they had Ryan Miller on $6 million a year, and then to like pay another goalie when you can really have Markstrom for like $1 million or something, right? That's probably the best business decision, right? So, I mean, I was sad. I wanted to like stay and love the city. Like, I was just back there like a month ago for the Canucks autism, and did not see the sun for 4 days, but it was still not
Yeah, we actually tried to get you in live in studio.
Yeah. Maybe next time.
Exactly. Like, most of my clients and investors and everything come from Vancouver still. So I am gonna spend more time there. I am planning a golf tournament there in August, and just like look forward to spending more time there now and showing my kids as they get older.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you for the invite to that.
Yeah, we'll be there.
We'll be there.
You got it.
But so you talked about clients. Let's kind of get into it. So, your playing days are probably coming to an end. You're still obviously a young man. And then what's the process of going into real estate? You're looking around, maybe leverage a little bit of social capital that you have being a professional athlete. How did you get into real estate after your playing career?
Yeah, so it started while I was still playing. So I was still investing in real estate while I was playing. It was more back home in Sweden. So I was investing in a rental. I bought a few houses that we developed at like a skiing resort back home and everything. So my family's in real estate back home.
Oh, okay.
That was always something that I wanted to like do, right? But I just didn't want to move back to Sweden.
And because you had set up roots in North America, essentially?
Yeah. In Sweden, it's really cold and dark.
And that's why you didn't pick Vancouver to come back to. You wanted to stay in Arizona.
Too much like home.
So tell us what the Arizona real estate market is like out there, and then we can kind of get into more of your development, because I know you're getting more and more into developing.
And then I got a really dumb question.
All right, well, let's.
So IKEA, is that actually a thing in Sweden? I don't know. This is all that's flashing. My ADHD is going off. It's like, you got to ask IKEA. You got to ask about IKEA. So is it actually a thing in Sweden?
The owner, Ingvar Kamprad, is one of the richest guys in Sweden. And he started the whole thing. Like, IKEA is very popular in Sweden.
Really? Okay.
It is affordable furniture. How can it not be popular, you know?
No, for sure. And I just didn't know if it was like an American thing where they're like, hey, let's make it this thing and give it this name and this persona and let's package it to our. So one of the
it's like maple syrup in
yeah,
Canada.
Exactly, right?
Same kind of idea. We've got our brand. Sweden has its brand, but let's talk about the Arizona real estate market. What you see as potentials in Arizona. I know that the price points in your market are vastly different, which means it's affordable. There's obviously Airbnb, and the climate makes a lot of sense. So kind of tell me what your beat is on the Arizona real estate market right now.
Yeah, I think when I started 5 years ago, it was more heavily focused on the Airbnb, and I bought a few Airbnb myself. Then now, I think like with the market going up as much as it has, and with the interest rates and everything, it doesn't really make that much sense anymore to buy Airbnb unless you're buying it in cash or you're gonna self-manage or a situation like that, right? So a lot of my Canadian investors have more steered towards the development side. So like I build houses that we sell for anything between like $1 million and $5 million now, right? Like we have a townhouse development that just starting that I'm really excited about in Old Town Scottsdale. Anyone that has been here probably knows where the W Hotel is, because that's where everyone has had drinks and all the bars.
Scottsdale, by the way. Oh my God, Scottsdale's fun.
So yeah, the townhouse site, it's like right across the street from the W. So yeah, we have a lot of interesting things in the works. Most of my investors go on and they just do it themselves with the capital, but there's also situations where you can partner up with another group to do like a GP LP structure or something like that, right? So yeah, more towards building, because this is growing so much. My lender told me the other day that we've had the most millionaires move here in the last 5 years than anywhere in the world. So it's a ton of money coming from California, a ton of money coming from Vancouver, because let's be honest, it is hard to develop and make money.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of developers going under here in Vancouver.
Landscape and everything, right? So a lot of money coming from Vancouver here now because it makes more sense.
So what's the process like? Do you introduce these investors to the builders, the developers, or do they kind of just wing it on their own and they call their own contractors? How does that work with you in the process?
So I've been the developers on I would say 80% of these, and they hire me for a fee which is in the construction budget already, and I hire the GC, I hire the architect, I hire the designer, the landscaper, the pool guy, everyone, right? And I make sure that the project moves forward every week, right? And I work a lot with the lenders to get them the best rates, and then once we have a lender, it's a lot with the with the reimbursement for the bills and everything, right? So yeah, I like to do the development stuff more than anything right now, because you take something really shitty or a law, whatever, and you make something, right? And I didn't think that I would like it as much as I do, but I really like it.
So you're kind of the quarterback, I guess, not to use a sports analogy, but you're kind of, if somebody from Vancouver or whatever in Canada is interested in going down, they're basically contacting you and saying, Eddie, here's the money that I have. Here's what I'm looking to do. Can you basically build it for me using your contacts?
And what's the time frame for that? Like, for here, obviously, Vancouver, the permitting issue is forever.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So what is the time, and what is basically your gross cap with what you can make in that time?
So the bigger single family bills that we do, they're like 67,000 square feet on like an acre lots, right? And those permits take about 6 months from the time we close on the lot to permit in hand, and then it takes about 10 to 12 months to build. Like the townhouse site that we're starting with now, that's a 2.5 year for just permits, right?
Oh, wow.
But we're actually buying this one with the permits in hand. So we're closing in a week, and then the construction team is ready to go right away, right? So they have about an 18-month timeline to build the 9 townhouses and everything. So the smaller houses a little bit quicker, but I would say anything here takes like between 8 to 18 months, depending on the size and the scope of the project.
And then what are you seeing for ROI for most of your investors?
They double their money in about 18 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, I'm coming to you.
Alan literally is coming to you.
I actually am. So.
Yeah. So how do you hedge against, obviously the Canadian dollar right now is tanking. So how can we feel comfortable that, we're going to be okay on the back end of that as well?
Trump?
I think it's better, because I think that you guys will actually make 10% annually on your money when you go to put it back into Canadian eventually, right? So for a Canadian, I mean, even if you just transfer the money to like sit here, like I still truly believe that you guys will like make a ton of money on just the interest rates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess that's a big part. How big of a part of your business is this? And especially with Canadians, because part of this is for you reaching out, making sure people know that Eddie Lack is now not Eddie Lack, the NHL goalie. Eddie Lack is the Arizona realtor. How much is this is your business?
I would say half of my business right now is the development, and half is the resale. But since I hired the girl you saw in the video, Darian, I more want to be like 90% on the development side eventually. So like we're more leaning towards her helping me out, because she has her license too, right? So she does a lot of the showings and everything for me, so I can more focus and be on my sites and everything, right? So I would say, if you ask me 2 years from now, I would say that it's probably going to be like 80-20 or 90-10 towards the development side, because that's what I want to do.
So how big is your team right now? You have obviously Goalie Girl.
Great name. I love it.
I just thought of that. But you have her, but then do you have other people like admin, and then after on the development side, how big is your team there?
So I have her. I have an admin on the development side, and then we have a transaction coordinator on the resale side. that's it. Like a couple years ago, I bought into a brokerage, and I was in charge of 120 agents, and I just hated my life, and it was just not anything that I wanted to do. So I try to keep it as small as I can, and scale when I have to, you know. But I think that we're handling 6 projects right now. We can probably handle another 5, 6 a year, I think, with the current manpower that we have. So.
Well, there you go. Once I move there and you take me under your wing, I'll help you out.
Tell me a little bit about that brokerage, building a brokerage of 120 agents. I know we're with a brokerage, and I talk to agents all the time that it's different in the States. They have, mega teams of 400, 500 agents on a brokerage. And here we don't have that same scale. It's a little bit of a different model. I mean, how did you get involved with that? And what was your learning? I mean, obviously you didn't like it, so you're out of it, but what was your learning lesson from building or helping build and maintain a brokerage of that size?
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, and the tough part when you have so many agents, right, is to keep everyone happy. And there's 2 kinds of people in the world, right? There's like the people that have 0 emails in their inbox, and then there's ones that have 8,000.
Yeah.
And I'm the 0 type of guy.
Yeah.
and like I like to get to my stuff as soon as they get in. But when we started to have kids and everything, and all of these agents just wants something from you all the time, and it's kind of the same questions over and over again, and you try to automate it, but like a lot of them don't even look at that, because they want to have a person to talk to see if they do it the right way, right? So that was the hardest part for like me, because I wanted to get to it, but I also wanted to be the best dad that I can be, right? And that's why I feel like the development stuff works better for me, because I mostly just work like 6 to 6, right? Because that's when my workers work, right? So I like to be able to go home at night and my phone is not blowing up with the same questions over and over again.
Yeah,
for sure.
How are you finding that balance? You have a young family. You're obviously very much involved with the development side, and obviously still selling real estate, plus managing a small team. I mean, I think for Alan and I both, and anybody that's busy in this business, balance, even if it does exist, is very hard to come by. So how do you do it on a daily basis, where you make sure you're a good present dad at home, but also to take care of business?
You stay off the Adderall.
Yeah.
That's a lesson I learned.
I try, and like eventually there is rules that you can always follow, but I always try to have my kids for the first 2 hours of every day, and they wake up at 5, so it's great, right? Like I let my wife sleep, and I get to spend some alone time with my kids, right? And then I always try to be there for the dinner and the good night stuff, right? So anything in between, like they know that I'm gone, right? But I always try to be there for the wake up and the nighttime, and then I really don't work a whole lot on Sundays. Like there's like a few things that I have to do, but I try to take my kids to like the gymnastics and the dance and everything that they're doing, right? And that's kind of more my family day with them.
Yeah.
The more athletic things, the more active things. It's right up your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one thing that we did notice at the beginning, obviously we played a clip of, and you're getting, it feels like more and more into social media and getting more into branding yourself and changing your brand a little bit. You incorporate, and I appreciate it, by the way, the whole Canucks goalie thing. I love that. You know, you still rep the colors I see on a regular basis.
There was that one Wonder Bar one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah. So, you know, how are you trying to incorporate social media into your business, and what direction do you think you're going to go in on that, if at all, if you think that there's worthwhile being involved with social media at all?
Yeah, no, I just think that it's a necessary mean. I mean, as you guys can hear, I'm a stuttering Swede, so I'm not very good at cold calling, right? So I had to get my leads from somewhere, and
sure.
with the following stuff since that I built through hockey and everything. I mean, I'm like 100% social media and referral based, and that's it. So that's how I want to build my business. Do I always like it? Is it always fun? No, but it's something that most of the time I do enjoy to do it, and like it is a lot more fun than the cold calling and everything that I know that like a lot of my peers are doing, right? But that's just not for me, you know.
and it lasts. I mean, it's on your page forever, so people get to see your personality, and that's, I think, in my opinion, the biggest takeaway from you. I mean, you're such a genuine, nice, easygoing guy, and you can have a laugh. Like who wouldn't want to work with that, right? Like you got to be an idiot not to want to work with that. I mean, that's what lasts in this industry, especially nowadays when people are seeing through this whole like boilerplate room and like all this like cold calling and be a beast and all this stuff. It doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work that way, right?
Yeah, not for many.
No.
So last question for you before we let you go, and we appreciate your time today. You know, you're now an experienced realtor. Let's consider you a veteran in the business. So what would you give advice for realtors that are getting into the business, that are brand new? You know, what would you do first, and what's your advice to new agents?
Become a professional goalie.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it for sure.
Yeah, no, it's so hard. I mean, I would find your niche and like find what you think is fun, and shadow someone that does what you want to do, right? It's such a hard business to just learn by yourself, right? And like, I don't want to pump my tires too much, but like for the goalie girl that I hired, right? Like for her to follow someone like me that's done it for like 5-6 years now, right? I like wish I had someone like that when I started, and there's just like so much interactions and so many problems you run into that you're not going to learn from sitting by a computer screen, right? Yeah. And being out there and just doing it, because I learned from my mistakes. I mean, even with the development stuff, like I started developing with my own money because I knew that was the only way that I was going to learn. And like I wanted to learn, and I was the only guy that paid for my mistakes, because there's going to be mistakes in the beginning. And like I did not want anyone else to pay for my mistakes, right? So just like learning from someone else's mistakes always going to save you a ton of time. Sure. And the biggest thing that I can say, make sure that you don't put all your last money into getting that license, because like it is going to take like months and months and months until you do your first deal, because like
it's an expensive business.
It takes like that for everyone to get going. I mean, like I don't think I did my first deal until like 4 or 5 months in.
It's
and
normal.
Then it was kind of like the floodgates opened, right? But like it takes time, and like it is frustrating at times. Like you like just gotta stick with it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Have you named your development company yet? Do you have a name for the development?
Bolak Development, because wife's last name before we got married was Bosak, and my last name is Lack, so we combined them.
Well,
nice,
if you
clever.
have to change it, I think, your nickname was the Stork when you were a goalie.
yeah.
And I think the Stork
Stork
Developments,
Development,
maybe if you had a sister company or a brother company, that would be a good one, because you've obviously done a great job branding yourself, not only in this market, but now obviously in Arizona. So we thank you for coming on and
thank you
appreciate
so much.
all your success.
And I will be hitting you up because I'm coming to Arizona pretty soon.
And there you go.
Well,
I love it. Yeah,
we'll go hit up the spots. You know?
Do I have to pay you royalty if I do change it to Stork Development?
No, I'll give you this one for free.
That's a gift. That's a gift.
That's a gift from me to you.
Thank you so much, Eddie. You've been amazing. You are an amazing guy. And guys, feel free to reach out to him. He's always there to help, and about his development too. I mean, if you have money to invest, talk to Eddie.
Yeah, how do we get a hold of you?
Yeah.
Social. I'm on Instagram at EddieLack31. Twitter at Eddie Lack, and my email is eddie@eddielack.com if anyone wants to get in contact with me.
Amazing. And put your money with Eddie.
Yeah, put your money with Eddie. I like that
Right.
tagline. Awesome.
Thank you
buddy.
so much.
Thank you.
Eddie, you've been amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Subject Free Podcast. Make sure you subscribe, follow, rate, and review. Until next episode, we hope you're going in subject free.